section to kind of remind us of different customizations we have. So I break down this training into two different sections. The first is customizing within an exam. So basically just opening up an exam and talking through everything within that exam that can be customized. Some of that we've already talked about, but not all of it. So we'll go through that first. And then I'm going to go from there to talk about the help option dropdown and where we will use that as our kind of place to learn the setup for the rest of the customizations.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and just open up a Foxfire patient, or I guess you'll have a test patient in here. And we're just going to actually take a look at an exam that we've already done. We're not going to create anything new today. So I'm going to show you how to change an exam. So let's go ahead and highlight that April 24th. All right, so what I want you to do is hit the edit button at the top of the screen. That edit button is used anytime that we're trying to make changes on an exam that was not done today. So when we hit edit, down at the bottom right-hand side of the visit summary screen, there's an edit visit button. What I want you to do is change the date of service to today. The easiest way to do that is to click the little button that says today. Once you've done that, go ahead and update the visit. And now that visit is going to have today's date. So let's go ahead and get started through the process of the exam, starting with the HPI/Tech tab. Go ahead and hit the double drop down next to Chief Complaints. All right, so customization within this screen lives with the Edit button at the bottom left-hand side of the screen. When you hit Edit, you have the ability to add, edit, or delete any of the items within the columns. So for example, you have a series of Chief Complaints on the left-hand side. The first thing you can do is add additional items. You can delete items that you aren't going to use, or you can edit items. So what I want you to do is take a look at the very top where it has blurry vision. Find another chief complaint in that list that you use often and highlight it for me. Okay, what I want you to do is hit the edit button down below. One of the things we do with items that we use often is we prioritize them. What that means is instead of going through the full list there, we put it at the top above the non-priority black bar. When we highlight an item and hit edit, it automatically appears with a prioritized checkbox where we just simply click OK. Now you can see dry eye went to the top. So rather than looking through a huge list of items that you may not always use, you're actually going to be able to select priority items to use. Okay. Now, if with dry eye you want to add a quality, a modifying factor, or a sign and symptom, you simply just add under the appropriate column. Okay. Any questions on that tab?
Nope. Well, why did we edit the exam from April? Was that just an unfinished exam? Is that what the premise was?
No, I did that so that we didn't have to hit the edit button at the top of every single screen. If we would have used the April visit or a previous date visit, we can't change anything unless we hit the blue edit button at the top. So to save an extra click on every single screen, I just made the date of service today. It was also a way to show you how you can go in and edit the date of service on any visit.
Okay, so once they're stamped and signed, they can still be edited, or
not if they're signed. Nope, this one was not signed. It was just an open test visit. Once they're signed, it won't allow you to edit anything.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Thank you.
No problem. Let's go ahead and hit the Done button on the bottom left-hand side of the screen, and then hit Save or right-click or the red X. Anywhere that you see the single arrow drop-downs, you know that a double-click in those fields will allow you to customize those. So this is just another area where you have the ability to do that. Let's go ahead and go across the top to POH, PMH. The items here that you will update cannot necessarily be customized, but for example, medications, if there's a medication that you're looking for that is not on the list, you want to make sure you update your drug database, and that's in the options drop down at the very bottom. I recommend, we talked about it a little bit before, but I recommend to do that probably once every quarter or as often as you know a new drug comes out.
Where's the options at the bottom?
There's an options drop down at the top of the screen, and the very bottom option of that is update drug database. The same options drop down that we go to when we were kind of going through an overview.
We still can't find it. Oh, the option all the way up there. Okay.
There's an update drug database. Yep, there you go.
Sorry.
Okay, that's okay. The piece in here that you can customize is the family history. There is a list of descriptions and relations built into the system, but if you want to add additional items, you can do so with a simple double click. So that would be the section here that you would go through and customize. The ones that are built in have SNOMED and codes associated with them. Those are not required anymore because meaningful use doesn't require family history being gathered. So you can actually just add an item just like you normally would with a double click option. Okay. So we'll go ahead and close the door in there. You're going to find that as we go through and start to customize these pieces, a lot of them are the same across the board. So everywhere that you see a single arrow drop down, it's a double click. Review of systems. This one's a little bit different. So we have our standard ROS here, but if we want to add additional items, you can go up to the options drop down at the top of the system and expand it and select ROS Custom Defaults. This will allow you to add up to 4 additional items under each section. All you need to do is simply type what the ROS that you want added in the field and close the door. Okay. There's nothing to customize under vitals. That one's just a plain entry. The workup, we've talked about most of the customization in here. These are a lot of just single arrow drop downs. The one that I do want to show you is if you click the double drop down next to one of the refractions for me, it'll pull up the numbers selection list. Okay. If you want to customize in here, for example, access, if you want it to say 001, 002, or 011, just double click where those numbers are.
Yeah, we do take it out where the number is. Anywhere in the, or on the number?
Just go ahead and double click. There you go. Then you can simply edit with the list there. So you can reorder them if you want the most common ones at the top, if you want them in reverse order. Entirely up to you how you want to have that set up, but that is how you would customize the refraction options that have the double drop down.
Morgan, on the prescription, when we print them out, do they show up with the 3-digit spacing, or is it just 1, 2, 3, etc.?
It's however you have it entered here. So if you want it to have the zeros, you'll have to enter them.
Okay, that might be a homework thing that we have to.
Now, once you customize it on Manifest, it's done for wearing an auto refraction and R2, R3, and final. So there's that section talks to the rest of the refraction areas. So you don't have to customize each individual one.
Okay.
Okay. Let's go ahead and go into the Workup 2 screen. The biggest area of customization here within the visit is under the contact lenses, if you want to click the double drop down next to that. So what we want to do here is start by removing what we don't use. Go ahead and hit the Edit Tree button in the middle of the screen. So there's a difference between checking the box and highlighting it in blue. Highlighting it in blue is going to allow you to customize. So find a contact lens that you do not use and highlight it in blue just by clicking on the words. Okay, then you would just hit Delete Highlighted Item in the middle of the screen at the bottom of those selections. It'll ask, are you sure? And now that has been removed from your list. So my suggestion is to start by deleting everything that you don't use. Then we can go and add what you do. To add something, you'd simply go in to where it says New Item / Child in the open field there in the middle and type something in. So go ahead and just type in test.
One second, I'm going to do it for you.
Okay.
Just type in test, you said?
Yep, that's fine. Now, it's going to ask you if you're including it in the letter filter anyway, so I always just proactively check that box because it's going to ask me anyway, might as well save myself a pop-up. Then you can just click Add Item. That will add it in alphabetical order on the list on the left.
Okay.
Now, if you wanted to put, let's say, Cooper was the type of contact lenses and you wanted to add some underneath of it, you can actually customize and add child items. So please highlight test in blue. And just go ahead and hit OK. So now what I want you to do is go under New Item / Child and type in test 1 or A.
No, I think
just to type it in.
Test 1, you said?
Yep, anything. It doesn't matter what you type in. Then include in letter filter. And then instead of adding, you're going to add child to highlighted item. And that's actually going to put it underneath of test. Okay?
So you're saying we can just organize it based on manufacturer?
Absolutely. However you want to organize it. In my head, that's how I would do it. But you can have each one outlined alphabetically as well. Once you have it done alphabetically, let's say that test is at the bottom now, but I need to customize that or edit it because it's the most common one I use. So I want it at the top. You have it highlighted in blue. Hit Edit Highlighted Item. Right above where you were typing. Yep. And then click the Prioritize check mark and then Update. That brings it above that non-priority line, so it's at the very top for you. Okay. Any questions on customizing? This is actually a tree.
No, I don't believe so.
Fabulous. Let's go ahead and close. Okay. Let's go down to the Doctor tab. And hit the Enter Findings for slit lamp. This is customized the same way as the Chief Complaint section. There's an Edit button at the bottom left-hand side of the screen that will open up all the fields. So go ahead and select a location on the left. Then you have the conditions listed there. Go ahead and add a condition called test, and we'll prioritize it so that it shows up at the top. Okay. Now the only add-on to this, so again, it's all the same as what we had in Chief Complaint, but this list allows you to suggest a diagnosis. So please highlight test and hit Suggest Diagnosis. The first drop-down will have either other or slit lamp, so we'll select slit lamp since that's where we are. And then you can hit the double drop down next to diagnosis and search for the diagnosis you want to pull up and test. Here's what this means. If you're in slit lamp and you select test, it's automatically going to add this ICD-10 code to the assessment screen. So that is what linking or suggesting diagnosis does in this screen. So you would just search for whatever you want. It doesn't matter what you choose. And then right-click or hit next, and then hit save. Now it's built on the background, so when you go to eyelid and click test, it's going to actually add that ICD-10 code to the assessment screen. When you're done, you hit the done button on the bottom left-hand side of the screen, and then save or right-click. Fundus is exactly the same way. The only changes in Fundus are at the top under lens used. If you have a lens that you use most commonly, you will double click in the field and put the one you want to automatically appear in the top line. To do that, you would find the lens and then click the buttons on the top right that say move selected item up. Whatever is in the very top line item for that is what will automatically appear on each and every exam that you do. If it's different than that, will you sign this for us? And then I think I have everybody. Sorry, hold on one sec, guys. How was the drive-in? Was it pretty bad, or is it? Oh, God. Yeah, and then I think you're the only one, so that's perfect. And then I think everybody's out there, so I'll be done around 1 o'clock. Okay, so if you find one that you use most commonly, just, yep, you have that little arrow next to it, and then hit move selected item up. This is not required, you guys. If you just have one that you use more commonly than another, this would be what you would use. Okay. Yep, and then close the door. LensRx. These customizations are the same as before. You have the single arrow drop downs where you can double click and customize, and then the double drop downs we've already customized on previous screens. So those are the refraction customizations that I showed you on the workup screen, and under contacts is the same list as the wearing contact lenses on the workup 2 screen. Okay, so that is the customizations within the exam. So do you have any questions on those before we kind of pull out the big customizations that'll be mostly homework?
Yes. No, I think we're good.
Perfect. So what I want you to do is go up to options.
There might be someone that's above the sink cabinet.
Well, maybe there is.
I'm sorry, what was that, Morgan?
Go to options, the drop down at the top. And let's go ahead and select EMR, EyeMD EMR help.
Oh yeah, I've been using this for like 20 years.
And then I'm going to have you go to the little plus sign next to configuration and customization. I would like you to select a fast plan, and then you're going to want to expand that window. And we'll go to fast plan. Okay. Customization of fast plans is extremely important. This is going to be what helps you basically through the process of exams become extremely efficient. So to customize fast plans, we're going to use this as a guide to help us through it. So it's going to give you kind of an outline of what it is, but basically what we're going to do is we are going to edit our fast plans and change the templates to what we want them to be. So I just wanted to show you that, and go ahead and click on customizing fast plans on the left. When you go through the process of customizing fast plans, these are very good instructions to use because they're going to help outline for you exactly what you need to do. Instead of just reading these to you, I'm actually going to show you and walk you through one fast plan so that you can see it hands-on.
Formula?
Let's go ahead and minimize the help option here. And let's go to the plan tab. On the right-hand side, there's 4 buttons on the top. The third one down is Add Fast Plan.
Yeah.
This is a list of all fast plans built within the database. Let's go ahead and find the, let's find a refractive error. Let's find myopia. So at the top, you can search myopia. Yep, just go ahead and type it in there. And let's highlight it. So for customizations, in the middle of the screen is your fast plan. If you are customizing the template, the very first thing you have to do is click Edit Fast Plan in the middle of the screen. You'll see that once you do that, there is a Finish Edits button, and to the right it says Changes will be saved to the template. Please click Finish Edits. If you don't have it set that way, it'll be in pink that says changes are not being saved. So it's important to know when you're customizing that you aren't doing all this work and then it's not being saved. So let's go ahead and hit Edit Fast Plan. So on this myopia fast plan, you have the ability to go in and write out anything that you want to show up on the templated fast plan. You can add education from the drop-down, which looks like is already done. You can add medications, you can write out your plan and discussion, instructions for the patient, and then add additional staff orders. The right-hand side, this means that anytime that you have a particular diagnosis code, you want this fast plan to appear. It doesn't matter if you use ICD-10 or 9. Right now it's in an ICD-9. 367.1 is myopia for that. So what that means is every time a patient is diagnosed with myopia, this fast plan will be a suggested template available for you to use. If you want a fast plan to show up, maybe we rename this and it's not myopia, it's refractive error number 2, you may want to add additional ICD-10 codes for presbyopia, hyperopia, or astigmatism as well. This right here is going to be the biggest and most important customization that you will do in this system. The reason being is that having your fast plans customized will allow you to be extremely efficient within the system. If there's anything that you are going to spend time customizing, it's fast plans. That's my suggestion. What I would do is I would make a list of the top 10 diagnoses that you see, and I would just customize them one by one. So if myopia or refractive errors are part of your top 10, I would go in and make sure that you have 3 or 5 or 2 fast plans outlined exactly how you want them, keeping in mind that you can change them for each patient that's maybe a little bit different. Okay. When you're done, you click Finish Edits. Now
Morgan,
there's,
in that same vein, when you said you can customize them a little bit towards each patient, so when we go through and create these fast plans for the various diagnoses, we can free type and delete whatever we want once they do appear on the assessment and plan tab?
Correct. Yep. That's correct. So there's 2 other options that I want to show you. Let's say that we like myopia the way it is, but I have one other plan I want to add that's similar, but I want to add a little bit more to it. Rather than starting from scratch, you can copy selected fast plan. So to do that, under name, right above where your mouse is, you could type in myopia 2. And then you have the option to either add a blank fast plan with that name, which means you'd start from scratch, or add a copied fast plan. So the fast plan you see here would be copied with that name. So then what you could do is you'd have myopia 2, and maybe you needed to add a follow-up or patient instructions on that one. Okay.
Okay. Oh yeah.
So,
I think you're right.
okay. Another good option, let's go ahead and just go remove your filter at the top left to show all your fast plans, because another really good thing to do is delete what you don't need. So to do that, you would just highlight one that you know you aren't going to use and hit delete fast plan on the right hand side.
I'm going to use them all.
I think there's
Good Lord, there's a lot.
yes, there's a lot. Now, it even goes farther than that. There's that View Share Cloud Fast Plans on the top left. So you have all of those, but you also have all of those from the Share Cloud. So if you go through Share Cloud and you find something and say, hey, I really like how this is already done, don't spend time redoing it. Copy that, find one that you like and download the fast plan to your list. So a lot of this is really already done for you.
Do I have to delete one?
No, you don't have to.
Okay, I'll pick this one because I'm not going to inject any of that
Okay.
into anyone.
And then all you do is delete fast plan on the top right hand side.
If I wanted to delete
If you wanted to delete it. Yep. Okay. Let's go ahead and hit the red X at the top. The next customization is visit types. So go ahead and hit add new visit, because I just want to show you what we're customizing first. So when you go to that visit type double drop down and it has that list there, that's what we're going to customize next. So go ahead and exit out of all this. I just wanted to show you where it was. Okay, you can actually close out of this patient's chart, and when you're done, go to the options drop down.
How do I close everything?
There's a close button in the top middle. Yep, there you go, perfect. And then we'll go to options, expand the list, and at the very bottom, there is visit types.
No, I don't want to work.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Again, first thing I always do, delete what you aren't going to use. If you don't use Botox and that's not something you do, highlight it and hit delete visit type on the top right. Get rid of the ones you aren't going to use. Okay, so that's just an example of how to delete. Let's go ahead and click on comprehensive at the top. The first thing I'm going to do is show you how to edit or customize the visits that already exist. So let's talk about the screen that you have up in front of you. Okay, so the very first thing you see is the visit type name at the top where it says comprehensive. If you want to change it, you just change it right there. Down below there's Tech, Diagnostic, Test, and Doctor. Those are the tabs along the left-hand side of the visit. The check marks just below there then are the tabs across the top. So on a comprehensive visit, if you want gonioscopy to appear under the testing tab, you'd want to check mark that. Otherwise, right now when you open up a comprehensive exam, that gonioscopy screen is not there. If on maybe a contact lens recheck, you don't need review of systems or vitals, you would uncheck those. So again, right here, this is going to be the available tabs that you see on each visit. Okay, now let's go a little step further. Click the Highlight Fields button in the middle of all those check marks. So this part is saying, okay, on the tabs that are available, which of the fields do you want highlighted in yellow? So right now you can see that this is what's highlighted in yellow. The biggest pieces here are probably going to be under the workup and workup 2 screens. So right now, like if you guys don't take height and weight, you just take blood pressure under vitals, you would uncheck those. Under workup, if you don't need the Amsler grid, or if you do, you would check or uncheck it. So again, this is going to be under each tab, which of the fields are highlighted in yellow. Okay.
And I saw during the demonstration that the system kind of guides you towards those highlighted fields.
Yep.
Do you spacebar over or something?
Yep. So when we were doing the when you guys were going through and actually entering in, when it automatically goes to the next drop down or automatically pops up a screen, that's based on the highlighted ones.
Okay.
Yep. So we'll go ahead and close out of this. The middle of this screen is for procedures. Okay, that's going to be mostly for surgeries, Avastin injections and things like that. The part that we're going to use is workup 2 at the bottom. So on workup 2, I told you I had color and stereo in there as an example, but you can add up to 22 custom default fields. This is what I was talking about. There are 2 different versions of default fields. You can either do a tree view or a drop down. So when I did mine, I did a drop down. So down at the bottom, you can see there's drop down and then there's custom 11, 12, all the way to 22. If you want your comprehensive visit or whatever visit you're working on to have a customized field in the workup 2 screen, you would just type something in there. It will show up however you have it entered. So if I put something in 11 and 12, they're going to show up side by side. If I put something in 11 and 13, 11 is going to be on top of 13. So they are formatted exactly how you see the fields here.
Okay.
Now let's say that you were to put color vision in one of the fields, and that you put under drop down. You would have to actually open a new visit, get to that workup 2 screen, and double click in the drop down in order to customize the selections for color vision. Okay?
You lost me.
Okay, so right now if you say color vision, all you're doing is putting the title on a drop down. To customize what's in the drop down itself, so 0 out of 8, 1 out of 8, 2 out of 8, you'd have to actually go in and create a new visit for a patient, go to the workup 2 screen, find where it says color vision, and then double click in the drop down to customize it just like we customize all the drop downs.
Okay.
Okay. So in here, the biggest piece first is going to be delete what you don't need, edit what's there, and then let's talk about adding. So down at the bottom left, we're going to add a new visit type. Let's go ahead and name it test. First, we have to name it. Yep. Then add visit type. Now this is starting one from scratch, so everything is blank. So across the top, there's the name of it. There's one piece I want to talk about when you start from scratch, and that's visit classification. To the right of the first checkboxes we talked about, it's either regular or procedure. You guys will use regular office visit. Okay, then you would go in and say for tests, anytime a patient comes in for this type of visit, here are the tabs I want to appear, and you would check mark them. Of the tabs that appear, I want these to be highlighted. Then you use the highlight, and if you want additional items added to workup 2, you would add them down at the bottom. Now right now, workup 2 is blank because you don't have workup 2 as a tab option in this particular type of visit. So if you click the workup 2 check mark at the top, those fields would open up for customization. Yep, perfect. Okay, so we can delete the test one so that that doesn't bog down some of those visit types. Yep, and then yes you do, and yes you do. Perfect. Okay. The next thing I want to show you is pre-EMR chart and pre-contact lens on the left. Go ahead and click one of those. This is what, sorry?
Morgan, I'm sorry. We did delete a visit type and later found that we shouldn't have deleted it. Is there a way to get it back?
Nope. Once it's deleted, it's permanently deleted.
Okay.
Pre-EMR and chart and contact lens, please do not touch these at all. These are what your exams from GetWell are coming over into. So everything that's on there is the way it should be. As you go through and start to customize, leave these how they are. Please don't touch them, edit them, or delete them. Okay? But I want to point out that, see how in the kind of in the middle under where we put regular office visit, there's a test/exclude visit checkbox. If you have a type of visit that is not going to go toward meaningful use, it's just like some of them like the non-billables, if it's just an easy check and you don't want it to be counted toward your meaningful use numbers because you aren't going to take history and you aren't going to enter meaningful use required pieces, so you don't want it to count against you, you can check that box. Most commonly, like a glasses recheck, let's say a patient gets glasses and then we mark them to come and see us in a week. Well, chances are you're not going to take a full chief complaint. You're not going to take their history all over again. You aren't going to enter in a lot of details. You're just going to check their RX. You would want to test exclude that visit. So let's click on glasses recheck and then hit test exclude. All that does is it says from your meaningful use numbers, you don't want this to be a denominator. Okay? There's no wrong way to do that, but I very strongly recommend to use that on any rechecks where it's a really quick in and out visit, not a full comprehensive where you're taking that information. Go ahead and close the door here because on that note, I do want to talk about one piece. Let's go ahead and double click test. And let's say that we had this patient set up. Let's add a new visit. Let's say we're going to do a glasses recheck for them today. Okay, so let's say that we get started. Yep, go ahead and add it. Let's say we get started, we're going through the exam, and as we get through checking the glasses, something comes up. The patient says, okay, I know I'm here for a glasses recheck, but there's something in my eye, or something has really been bothering me. This is no longer a glasses recheck exam. So you would want to go down to edit visit and change the type of visit. And you can do that as often as you want. If you entered, let's say, their history and their acuities, and then you have to change it back to comprehensive, you don't lose any data, okay? Everything you've entered stays. The only thing that changes is the yellow highlighted portions and the type of visit. So it's safe to flip back and forth even if you've gone entirely through an exam and now you have to change the type of visit. What questions do you have?
Nothing at this point.
Okay. So if you go to the options drop down and go to, actually I think we minimized it, down at the bottom where that yellow, yep, and you want to maximize this. So under that customization and configuration fast plan we have, there's also visit types. That's the one we just covered. You have the list and tree customizations. A lot of these you aren't going to use a whole bunch of. For example, you're not going to do anything with employees or interface options or fax or remote desktop, because if they don't make sense to you or aren't things that you've done in the past or that we've talked about, don't worry about them. There's nothing you need to customize. The two biggest ones outside of the exam are these two that you'll want to go ahead and get customized. If you start seeing patients and you're using comprehensive as an exam type, and down the line you say, you know what, I want this to say new and established, so you change them. And you, let's say, delete the comprehensive one, it doesn't delete any patient exams. They still have a comprehensive exam, it just isn't available for future use. So don't worry about if you change this after you go live. Again, no records will ever be removed by customizing. Customization can start immediately. Your system is, in a sense, live because you do have a live license. The adding of the conversion details that come in just as simply adding it to whatever you've customized. So after we do the conversion and after you go live, your customizations will stick. So you can start those now and work on for the duration of training until go live.
So any fast plans I put in now will still be there when we go live.
You got it.
All right.
All right, guys, that is what I have for you today. I'll get the video converted and sent over. Oh, hang tight. Chris just literally ran into my office. Are any of your printers set up on the network?
I mean, there's something that's connected to the individual computers. I don't know if it's connected to the
I'm going to let
network.
you tell, I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm going to let you tell this to Chris. 1 second.
Hello, Doctor. This is Chris with Foxfire.
Hey, Chris. How are you?
Well, it's Friday, and the weekend isn't close, and I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. How about you?
Ditto for us. Yeah.
I was taking a look here. Keith had gotten your tunnel set up for you, and I thought I would help and get your printer set up. I see that you have a couple of brothers, and when I do a check on our side of the fence, are those printers, are they connected via USB port, or are they connected via network cable?
I think they're USB. I do want to give you some background information on the practice. When I took it over, he had some thin clients, and he had a static IP, and he had a server, but he had a different EMR system. It was called OfficeMate. It was a server-based one.
Uh-huh.
So one of the computers went down, and we switched EMRs. Long story short, we got individual computers for each station, and we unhooked the network cables. So now everything is just connected via USB. Obviously, that limits us with some of the devices that are in our pre-testing area, like the retinal camera and things like that. But I have an IT guy that's supposed to come next week, and I don't know if he can give us some suggestions on how to reestablish things, or if you can help us out.
Well, I can try to help you out, Doctor, as best I can from here remotely, but a lot of that you're going to have an on-site IT guy help you with that. We need like IP addresses for those printers, so then that way I can set them up so you can be able to print out of EyeMD, EMR, Foxfire PM, MD Navigator. And then also I'll be helping you with your imaging devices, and if they are network capable and set up, we have different ways where we can, if they're even DICOM compliant, where they can send the data over instantaneously, or if we have to use a shared network folder or a simple batch script to transfer the data over. There's different ways we can get that working for you, but I just wanted to ask you while Morgan still had you on the line, so I apologize for interrupting.
No, no apology necessary, but yeah, currently they're hooked up via USB.
Okay. What I can do then is I can put my installing printers on hold until I hear from you or your IT next week in regards to getting them network set up. So then that way you can, you and your staff can start printing from within the Foxfire environment.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, well, that's all I need from you right now. Corey just brought us lunch, so I'm going to go wolf that down, and I will turn you back over to Morgan.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Enjoy the tea.
Thank you.
All right, guys, I'm done with you as well. What questions do you have for me?
Nothing right now. I think, Morgan, we're all good. Enjoy your
Good.
party and have a great weekend.
Thanks, you too. Let us know if you need anything.
We will. Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.